Yo, isn't it funny how people be in secret competition with you? I don't know about you, but there's some people on this app that you know them personally. These people, they know who they are, and they'll just look at your content, breeze past it, not like a single thing, not comment a single thing, not even repost a single thing. That just, to me, that's just hating mentality. That's called being a hater. And sometimes these same people will study your moves. As a DJ, these people will study your moves and they'll study everything that you do. What kind of music you play and all that stuff. And they'll take credit for it at their next event or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they'll study you and then they'll steal your ideas, steal how you do business. Like, I'm sure somebody has played my remixes at their event. Hell, some artists, specific artists who I've done remixes for. Like, for example, I've done remixes for Jazzy B. I've done a lot of remixes for Raf Sapera especially too. And these remixes that I've done have generated over a lot of streams. Especially, and they've generated a lot of streams, and I'm sure some DJs out there, I'm talking to some specific Punjabi DJs out there, they've probably played my remix at certain events, my toll mixes or whatever, and I'm sure they've played it and they took credit for it. Like, oh yeah, this is my mix, man. This is not DJ MVD's mix. They failed to tag me the mix and, say, oh, DJ MVD made this mix. What, and why would they tag me? Why would they tag some guy that, a random DJ out here from San Diego? Why would they tag me, the mix that I did? Why would they do that? It's because out of their own ego and own jealousy and insecurity. Some of these DJs, man, are, like I said, man, they're just pathetic. They're just in it for the clout. They're not there for, your needs. I'm just saying, man, I'm just being a spoke on the wheel. They're just there for your money at every event. I know there's one cat a couple of weeks ago. I was at some event. The guy had a pre-recorded set, and so basically all he did was press play, and the songs were moving the crowd, and all he was doing was walking around the hall. That to me is just using your money. That to me, that's a guy that cannot mix for shit. Any songs for shit. He uses your money. He uses everything, your time and your dedication for your event. He ruins it. And another thing, that same DJ, his setup was so weak, he didn't even bring any subwoofers to the event. If he did add a subwoofer, it was probably one sub at, max. And I could hear the sound in the whole hall. The sound didn't even resonate through the hall. It was weak. My mom and dad come home. They said this DJ was terrible. Like this DJ, he didn't even, the sound was so terrible that you couldn't even hear it through the hall. So I'm just being a spoke on the wheel, guys. Next time you hire a Punjabi DJ, not even a Punjabi DJ, any DJ out there, please look at quality of work. And it's not all about the fancy setups and LED walls and all that stuff, but it's usually about music selection. Can you read the crowd right? Can he move a dance floor? Is the dance floor packed? I'm telling you, none of this LED walls and all this setup shit matters. It doesn't matter, for presentation purposes, but what good is it if you have a good presentation as a DJ, with lights and all that stuff, but you cannot mix for shit, and you can't read the crowd, you can't play good music, What good is all that? If the setup is good, but the music quality sucks. Sound quality sucks. And it's not about, who charges the most and who charges the less. Because I've seen sometimes in certain situations, the DJ that charges the most, especially with the fancy setups and all that crap, he does a shitty job. Shitty job. And the guy that doesn't charge as much comes in and does a great job and lights up the dance floor, plays bangers all night, and keeps the crowd moving. That's the person you want to hire. Not someone with lights and a factory workshop. Pretty much is what I'm saying. So this message goes out to any person out there that is planning an event, whether it's a birthday, graduation, jago, wedding reception, whatever. Look at quality. Look at quality of work, not just with setups, with lights and all that fancy stuff, but look at the music quality. Do your research on that DJ. Does he put out content? Does he put out all this stuff? Does he have a SoundCloud? Does he make mixes? All those factors matter. All those factors matter. But anyways, this was just my rant video. I just wanted to share my 2 cents on how I feel about this topic. But yeah, next time, choose good quality music over anything else, is all I'm saying. Thank you.